Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Mike Goltein here. Thanks very much. My talk today will be examining when it may be time to pivot both your strategy and your OKRs. And we're going to zero in on three very specific warning signs. And so here you can see that this is somebody who is following a very specific set of goals, OKRs, and suddenly they realized these were taking them in the wrong direction. So this is that oh nuts moment that many of us may have had. And everybody around sees the disparity in what they were trying to achieve and what they're actually achieving. Just a quick question out to the folks on the call. Has anybody had this kind of moment where they thought they were achieving one result and in fact they were achieving something very different? I'm checking here in the comments. So, not seeing any comments in the chat here. All right. Well, we'll keep discussing that. Think about that in the background, but we can move forward to the next slide. So, this is probably my favorite quote when it comes to this notion of goals and strategy. Many people talk about a VUCA world, that things are unprecedentedly changing. And I'm just going to see if I can switch over here. So I think we're losing some of the. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch over to my slide. And oops. Yep. Here we go. So right now, everybody talks about VUCA and chaos. I don't think anything has really changed at any time. Things are no more or less chaotic than they ever were. The key is, are we responding with yesterday's thoughts, with yesterday's logic? And that's what we really want to look at here. There's a very crisp set of very professional consultants came in to an organization I was working with, and they said, this strategy can't miss. All you have to do is execute, follow this plan. What could possibly go wrong? So these are a few questions that we continually need to ask ourselves. Is the strategy taking us in the right direction? Are we solving the right problems? And are our OKRs still pointing us in the right direction? Well, how will we know when it's time to pivot? So I think the biggest issue is that a lot of companies are stuck in a 80-year-old approaching strategy, goal setting, budgeting, planning. And really today we're moving at the speed of digital. And I think we just need to approach things in a very different way. But the big problem is getting any group of executives together to align on a strategy is very complex. It can be very challenging for an organization to make that happen. even if we have what we call planning, and it is called planning season. It does take an entire 3 months to get strategy and formalized and have an idea of what you want to do for the next period. And frequently these strategies and then the OKRs to make them come to life, they don't happen. They don't get set until very late. And so teams probably end up 2 months into a quarter before they have clarity on what they should be doing and how they should be achieving their goals. So we got this can't miss strategy from this consultant, and we set our OKRs against it. We started working against it, and we saw some issues. And it was immediately apparent that there were some serious problems. And so we started to dig into the numbers, and it became apparent that each sale was bringing only a fraction of the expected profit. So that was a real problem. So what we ended up doing, I learned from that experience tremendously. And these are kind of the 3 rules of thumb that I have learned that have been also successful in organizations I've worked with and people I've consulted with. This first one is probably one of the biggest. What would have to be true? Then the notion of key results that are leading rather than lagging. And then pairing OKRs, especially key results, with health metrics. And let's dig in. Are our what would have to be true conditions still true? So the key here, this is how we set strategy in the playing to win strategy framework. And the key piece I want to draw attention to is on the right side. We do that kind of double diamond from design thinking, where we expand our thinking and then we focus. And the way we focus, whether our strategic choices are effective and they'll stand up over time, is we ask the question, what would have to be true? So especially in these bottom 4 pieces, we want to ask, what would have to be true about, are we picking the right customers? Are we asking the right questions? What would have to be true about our differentiation strategy? And do we have the capabilities to bring this to life? And finally, management systems. How can we continuously measure and improve those capabilities? So it's always a question of testing the underlying logic underneath our assumptions, right? It's not what we believe to be true, it's what would have to be true. And in these 3 areas, are our customers responding the way that we thought they would to our offers? Is our company set up to both execute and to measure? And finally, how will competition respond in the face of what we are doing? So the key here on what would have to be true is to keep these conditions front and center and pin them over your desk and just keep them there and make sure that you take a look at them every day. When these conditions no longer hold true, you're going to want to get the team together and reset your key results, your objectives, and all the way up through your strategy if necessary. Because as we said, approaching new challenges as they come up with the same old strategy is not going to help with the same old goals. This is the next piece. Sign 2 focuses on key results, setting leading key results. And this is quite important. And the difference here is that is a huge difference when we start to move from leading to lagging. When we start to move from these lagging key results to leading key results, it's definitely going to make a difference for us. when teams are assigned to work on outcomes, they are I think this is the thing. The first set of OKRs that people usually work on become task focused OKRs. And so in moving to outcome focused OKRs, it becomes a challenge and people start too lagging. So switch over to these other slides here. All right. One moment. Sorry, folks, just experiencing a small issue. Okay, there we go. So I would say the biggest factor in any company's success in moving to OKRs is the check-in. And I'll bring it down to one piece in everything I've seen, and that's the check-in. Now, when companies do not check in on a cadence that is more frequent than every 2 weeks, OKRs are going to lose their connection to teams' daily activities. And the big piece in check-ins, together with the cadence, is the mindset. It's a project management execution mindset to say, what is your progress against these OKRs? This is what we call task-based key results. And that's what you're looking for, is progress. In an outcome-focused key result, you want to look at confidence. What is your confidence that you'll be able to deliver it by the end of the quarter? Let's take a quick look here at this user flow. And you can see here that in any typical flow, and this is just one of a number of teams I've worked with, this is a marketing team. They get emails, they click through, hit a landing page, and you can see people could drop out. This is very easy then to set the appropriate leading and lagging metrics. Now, if we take a look at the bigger flow, these are the lagging business impact metrics around money, profit, retention. Now, what was happening is that teams, as we moved to outcomes on this side, they were getting tagged to deliver outcome focused key results. And so we really needed to switch to focus on outcomes. And so you can see this layer. I just took what was in the previous layer, set them up. And you can see really to think about most of what happens in business is we focus from outputs and go right to business impact. And remember that this is an entire stack and you have to work through client opportunities into business impact. So here are a few questions to talk about in key results not moving. My final piece is around health metrics. This is the OKR Foursquare that was put together by Christina Wodke. It was something she used at Zynga game company. And this is extremely effective. I just want to focus on this right side and the need to protect these different pieces as we're striving for our goals, right? And it's really about the conversations that we have. So for us, So others.
Hello, hello. I think we're having some difficulties technically for that's due to your connection. I think, Mike, we
All
lost you
right. Well, I
for
think
a minute, I guess. So we'll be meeting in the networking session in 2 minutes. So if you're back and you can hear us, I would be asking you to wrap up. Maybe some final words from you would be great before we head towards the networking. And after that, I'll be explaining how the networking place works. Are you with us? Let me just check again. Okay. I think we lost Mike. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys could capture what all the key points he was talking about.